Saudi Arabia, a big oil producer and key player in the Middle East, made a surprising announcement. It was joining the BRICS alliance. This caused a huge shift in the world economy. This was a big surprise, and it makes me wonder a lot about the future of the US dollar as the world's main reserve currency. With its large oil reserves and important geopolitical situation, Saudi Arabia's membership in BRICS could have big effects on the world economy. Saudi Arabia's choice to join the BRICS alliance is a big step in its strategy to broaden its economy and change its strategic direction. By joining forces with Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, which all have growing economies, Saudi Arabia hopes to rely less on its usual Western allies and find new ways to make money. This opens up a world of opportunities for the kingdom, giving it access to a huge network of trade and business opportunities. Saudi Arabia has a lot of power over oil costs and production levels around the world because it has so much oil. By joining BRICS, the kingdom gets a place to improve its position in the energy market and use its oil resources to help the economy grow. By working with other BRICS countries, Saudi Arabia can find new ways to trade and invest in oil. This helps the country's economy become less dependent on changes in Western markets. The BRICS alliance also gives Saudi Arabia a chance to get closer to some of the most dynamic emerging countries. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa make up a large portion of the world's people and GDP. This gives Saudi Arabia a good market for its exports and a place to start bringing in foreign capital and new technologies. The alliance can make it easier for people in different fields to share their skills and information, which can help spark innovation, job creation, and long-term economic growth. Amazing, right? Don't miss any breaking news or smart analysis if you want to know what's going on with Saudi Arabia's entry into BRICS and how it might affect the world economy. When Saudi Arabia joined BRICS, it made people wonder what might happen to the US dollar, which has been the main global reserve currency for a long time. As a major exporter of oil and a key player in the global energy market, Saudi Arabia's economic choices can have a big effect on the stability and value of the US dollar. First, Saudi Arabia's decision to join BRICS shows that the country is moving away from its usual economic alliances with the West. This move shows a change in how the economy is run and a desire to look into other currencies for foreign trade. If Saudi Arabia and other BRICS members choose to settle their transactions in currencies other than the US dollar, it could reduce the demand for dollars, which could weaken its status as the world's reserve currency. Secondly, the BRICS alliance itself is a threat to the US dollar's power. As a group of rising economies with a lot of economic power, the BRICS countries have been looking for ways to trade and invest without using the US dollar. The goal of setting up the BRICS New Development Bank and the Contingent Reserve Arrangement is to make it easier for members of the alliance to work together on trade and finance. This could make it less important to use the US dollar for financial operations. Also, Saudi Arabia's choice to join BRICS can help with the work that is already being done to set up a multipolar currency system. Baffling, isn't it? Some BRICS members, especially China and Russia, have been pushing for an expanded global reserve currency basket that includes currencies from emerging countries. With Saudi Arabia joining the partnership, the push for a more balanced international monetary system gets even stronger. This could make the US dollar less important. As Saudi Arabia joins the BRICS group, the future of the global economy is uncertain. Will this move lead to a new age of economic cooperation and diversification that challenges the US dollar's longtime dominance? The effects of Saudi Arabia joining BRICS go far beyond economics. Changes in geopolitics and security in the region could be at risk if Saudi Arabia joins BRICS. The rest of the world is watching this story with great interest, thinking about what will happen to the world economy and the US dollar. What are your thoughts? Still, it's important to remember that the US dollar won't likely stop being the world's main currency anytime soon. The US economy is still the biggest in the world, and the dollar is a very important part of banking systems around the world. But by adding Saudi Arabia to BRICS, some countries are showing that they want to be less dependent on the US dollar and look for other ways to work together economically. This change could make the dollar less important over time and lead to a global financial system with more than one strong currency. The addition of Saudi Arabia to the BRICS group has important geopolitical effects on the balance of power around the world. By joining BRICS, Saudi Arabia gets closer to countries with a lot of strategic weight and aligns itself with countries with emerging economies. Saudi Arabia's membership in BRICS makes it a more important player in the Middle East and gives it more power in the area. The alliance gives Saudi Arabia a place to talk with other countries about regional problems, security issues, and ways to work together economically. This makes the state's voice louder and lets it take part in making decisions that shape the Middle East's political scene. Saudi Arabia's membership in BRICS also gives it strategic benefits when it comes to energy policy. As a big exporter of oil, the kingdom is a key player in the world's energy markets. By joining BRICS, Saudi Arabia can coordinate its energy policies, look into new markets, and strengthen its place as a major player in shaping how energy works around the world. This gives the kingdom more power and impact in geopolitical conversations about energy. Saudi Arabia's membership in BRICS also affects its ties with traditional Western allies from a geopolitical point of view. The alignment with emerging countries gives Saudi Arabia the chance to make its foreign policy more balanced and varied. It lets the kingdom get closer to countries that might have different ideas about how the world should work. This opens up new ways for political and economic cooperation. Beneficial, isn't it? Saudi Arabia's choice to join the BRICS alliance is based on the importance of stability and influence in the region. As an important player in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia's decision to join BRICS has effects on the balance of power and the way things work in the area. By working together with Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, Saudi Arabia can increase its power in the area and help keep the Middle East stable. With Saudi Arabia joining BRICS, there will be more economic integration and cooperation in the area. The alliance gives member countries a place to work together on economic growth, trade, and business projects. By joining the BRICS group of emerging economies, Saudi Arabia can strengthen its economic ties with other countries in the area, leading to more stability and wealth. The alliance encourages countries to work together and talk about security problems. This lets member countries share information, work together, and react to threats as a group. This way of working together can help make the Middle East safer and more stable, which is good for all members of the Union, right? The fact that Saudi Arabia is now a member of BRICS is a big change in the world's economy and politics. It shows how important the country is becoming economically and politically on the world stage and could mean a change in the balance of power. Even though it may not have a big effect on the US dollar's dominance right away, Saudi Arabia's decision to join BRICS shows that some countries want to become less dependent on the dollar and look for other economic allies. The move shows a plan to expand economic partnerships and look for alternatives to the US dollar. However, the real effect on the currency will depend on a number of factors, such as what Saudi Arabia and the other BRICS countries decide to do with their currencies, and how the global economy changes in general. As the global economic order continues to change, a lot of attention will be paid how Saudi Arabia's joining BRICS will affect the future of the global economy and the role of the US dollar.